You know, one of the things that's really tough in the early parts of this is when you're constantly thinking about the person who is the source of your problems. It's like they occupy every waking moment of your time, and you just can't get away from them. You hear concepts like no contact, and it sounds like a magical term that just makes everything so much better. And there is some truth to that. It does make things better. But it's how you do it that's really the issue. No contact is for you. It's for you to start to be able to get your life back and get some separation from everything that's going on. It's not about punishing the ex. It's not about making them think about you, although that may happen. It's not about trying to get them to chase you. It's about you finding your peace. You finding some serenity. You finding an opportunity to start to heal from all this stuff that's happened. I think a lot of people in the early parts of this, they lose sight of that. And they're still spending that time pining away at the ex, wondering what they're doing, asking people about them, searching their social media. If somebody starts to tell you something, you ask more questions because you're desperate to find out what's going on. You want to know if they finally miss you, if they finally are thinking maybe they made a mistake. Maybe they need to rethink their decision. You also think about it in the context of no contact being like a silent treatment. Oh, he's going no contact with me, or she's going no contact with me if they're your antagonist. It all boils down to the intent of what you're trying to do. So effectively, let me say this. If you're going quote unquote no contact, and your goal is to make the other person think about you and come back to you and try to reach out to you, you're not going no contact. You're doing a silent treatment. You're ignoring that person for effect to try to get them to chase you or to cause them pain or to cause them to rethink their decision. That's a silent treatment. Silent treatment is done to punish somebody, and it's done not to help you. It's done to hurt someone else. No contact is because you realize that the person you're around is so freaking toxic that thinking about them, reaching out with them, hoping that they'll give you closure, hoping they'll do something, anything to validate you as a human being, it's different. When you go no contact, you are trying to separate yourself to give yourself some peace, to give yourself some clarity on what's going on, to help you get an opportunity to be able to really get out of that cognitive dissonance and see what's really been happening, not be blinded by that facade, that illusion that they presented around you. Now let me be clear about something else on this. You can be a target of a narcissistic, abusive person, and you can still be pining away for them and wanting them to chase you. You might even, whenever you find out that they're seeing someone else or they have something else going on, you might even send them an email to try to get them to think about you. Does that make you a narcissist? No, it doesn't. But I think it's one of those things that needs to be brought up because I don't think people talk about it much, because only narcissists do that. Only toxic people do that. You know, to be perfectly honest, there was a time early on in this whole thing like a few months into it, when I heard a rumor through the grapevine, because I didn't know about no contact, and I was still just reeling from this whole thing, trying to figure out what in the hell just happened, that I heard that she was going to see somebody. And I sent an email, not saying, don't see somebody, but it was just like, hey, can you think, really? 20 some odd years? Is there anything to this? The sad part is there's such a fine line between narcissistic behavior and just the injury that's caused by it. And I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to talk about that because I think it's so, it's so easy to hear what you're supposed to do and what happens, and a lot of people don't talk about the dark side of all this, and there's a lot of dark sides about this. So you don't get the clear picture. So whenever you're struggling with what you're doing, it can really screw with your head, because you can be thinking, well, crap, I'm doing all these things that all these channels are talking about that are narcissistic. So does that make me, maybe I am. Maybe I am this. Maybe I'm the problem. But here's the reality. If you're really working to try to become a better person, then it's not you. You're not that. The reality is whenever you've been emotionally neglected by somebody and discarded and devalued, it really breaks you down to your core, and you're reeling to try to figure out what the hell happened. And you don't want to believe it. And there are times you will do stupid things, yeah, I'll say it, stupid things that you shouldn't do. Like sending emails, stalking them online, asking people about them, basically not going no contact. You're still trying to find out what's going on. You're wanting to hear that they're unhappy, that they're regretting their decision, that they realize what a mistake they made. That's what you're looking for. The problem is that ain't going to happen. Not with a narcissist, because there's no real emotion there. You're a means to an end to a means. And whenever you no longer serve a purpose, they no longer have any value for you. And in an instant, snap of a finger, they discard and replace you with something else. And honestly, that something else could be nothing. It could just be replacing you with a victim story to get sympathy from family and friends and church members and social friends and all that and all the different ways they can do it, and ride that wave, how hard it was for them, how abusive you were. Again, I want to bring this up because I haven't watched a lot of videos on the other channels, so I don't know necessarily if this is being talked about. If it is, let me know in the comments below. But I get the impression that the early parts of this, a lot of people don't talk about the really tough parts about this. And I wanted to just throw it out there to let you know that it's normal, that happens, that you can have thoughts that make you feel like you're crazy, and it doesn't mean that you're crazy. It doesn't mean that you're emotionally abusive. You're trying to heal from a trauma. You're trying to get your life on track, and you're trying to understand what happens. And here's the good part, is as you start to heal from this and you get separation, as you really go no contact, hybrid no contact, for those of us with children that can't go no contact, you start to see things clearer. You start to calm down. You start to realize you never liked the games in the first place, and you don't play them. And I think that's the key. So if you're struggling in the beginning parts of this, don't beat yourself up on it. This stuff is hard. It is not easy. You can make, I can make videos that seem upbeat or are upbeat and show the positive side of this. But it's tough. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot of internal struggles to get to the point to where you really get your life back. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you've been struggling with that, share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd like to know what you think. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like it, share it out, do all those things that YouTube wants people to do to show the channel some love. And on that, I'll chat with you later. Take care.